The Art of Sculpting Your Business podcast is sponsored by The Hive. The Hive is a small business resource center designed to support an innovative and entrepreneurial ecosystem in Virginia Beach. The Hive offers mentorship, networking, and a variety of fundamental resources to those who need them. The Hive, where businesses thrive.
Hello, and welcome to Series 2, Episode 2 of The Art of Sculpting Your Business, a series dedicated to highlighting resources, tools, and tips designed to drive innovation and growth. We are your hosts, Lavera Tolentino and Sheila Johnson. In today's episode, we will talk about Kidpreneurs, and our special guest today is Mr. Josh Alvelo. Did I say it right, Josh?
You said it right. It's good.
Yeah, founder of the nonprofit Kids in Biz. Josh is also the owner of Innovative Twists, a professional graphic design and printing company based in Virginia.
Josh, we're so glad to have you back to talk about your nonprofit Kids in Biz. Can you tell us a little bit about Kids in Biz, its mission, and the impact you hope to make?
Yeah. So listen, first, thank you for having me back. I enjoyed our last one. That was so much fun.
Oh, my goodness, it was.
It was a blast. So Kids in Biz, we're going to teach kids entrepreneurship from 8 to 18. It'll be a 12-month program. Our mission is to create 1 million Kidpreneurs. That's our goal.
Wow.
I love it, Josh. I love it. Is there a location for Kids in Biz?
So we're going to be located, our first one's going to be located in Virginia Beach, right off Wichita and Cleveland on Pennsylvania Avenue. So in there, it's about 3,000 square feet. We've got our meditation room to teach kids how to meditate. We have our affirmation room so we can work on their self-esteem and confidence. We have a computer lab room, photography studio, the podcast studio, the board room, and the room where they'll actually make their own clothing line or branded merch.
I love it. Josh, the last time that we spoke, you mentioned this great concept to serve children. Why did you decide to start this? Why did you do this?
So me and my wife, we always wanted to help our community. She grew up in a whole different lifestyle in New York, and she just wanted to make sure kids didn't have to go through that type of stuff again, right? So what we did was we took something that we loved, and we started with a fashion show at the Chesapeake Conference Center. And our 8-year-old at the time was like, hey, can I host it? And we're like, huh? We're like, sure. Me, I'm like, he's going to get on stage and he's going to freak out, right? He's going to see a lot of people and he's going to bail on me, right? Well, that wasn't the case. We went and did an interview on TV, and the first thing he said was, can I touch the mic? And they let him touch the mic, right? So that was the first time. So then we do the auditions at Pembroke Mall in front of Target, and he killed it. When I tell you, he was roasting my judges. He was making everybody laugh at 8 years old, right? So we're like, okay. He's like, well, can I do the event? I'm like, bro, this is your event. If it's mine, it's yours. Let's go. You want to do it? Let's do it, Wow. So he did the event. He killed it. And then at this point, I've been in print 18 years, right? So I have a lot of networking and connections. So I'm like, all right, let's do this. So I call everyone I know, and I'm like, hey, my son's an event host, right? So now I got him doing MMA fights at the TED. Then I got him doing fashion shows with Earl Bynum and them,
oh, wow.
award shows and all these type of things. He did the Mounts New Year's Eve party one time at the TED,
Oh, my goodness.
And that was last minute. That day, I'm like, hey, my son's an event host, right? They're like, can he make it to sound check? Can you send me what he's done? I'm like, yeah. So I sent stuff, and within an hour, we're there for sound check. And he's on stage in front of 10,000 people,
Natural talent.
And you would never know unless he had a mic in his hand.
Yeah.
So he was one of the motivating factors for us to do what we're doing now, to build confidence and self-esteem and for these kids to know their worth. But not only was it him, when we did our fashion show, we had other kids. And these kids came to us timid, shy. They wouldn't leave each other's side, right? But by the time we were done, they owned that runway. And the impact that they created with themselves. I mean, they went in the back before our show, and as a group of kids, no parents around, said, hey, let's get together and pray before we get on stage. That was just so meaningful for me. Like, I was like, wait, they did what? you know, and then they get on stage and they own it. Like, they weren't the same kids. So we gave them the confidence and the self-esteem that they needed to walk across the stage in front of hundreds of people. And that was satisfying to see that we can help kids gain that confidence, because there's so many people who don't have confidence now as adults that it limits what you can do in life. So to be able to get them at such a young age and help them and teach them that failure is okay, that being yourself is okay, you know, that they embraced it and they ran with it. And that's why we created it. And that's why we have all the different rooms in our facility, to make sure that we can help them with their mental health, right? We want it to be a safe place. We want them to be able to come and know that they're loved, right? My wife always says, when you drop your kids off, they're my kids. I'm about to pour so much love into them, they're not going to know what to do with themselves, you know? And that's what we want, because we don't know what it's like for them when they go home, or, you know, we want them to be absolutely inspired. We want them to leave happy and know that they can make a difference.
I love it. I love it. Well, kudos to you all for recognizing that your son had talent, because that opened the doors for you all to bless so many other children as well.
It did.
So that's great. So you had mentioned the location earlier, Josh. When will it actually open and open or go live?
So we're looking at opening June, probably right after school starts.
June this year?
June this year, yep, 2023. So we're super excited about that. Our goal is to get this one up and off the ground. So our first set of kids will probably be about 10 to 20 kids, put them through the program, and see how, you know, it's our first one. So we're going to get out the kinks and everything. I see how it's going to work in my head, but until I do it and I got kids in front of me, right?
Right.
So June we launch, and then after that, once we got it down packed, we'll be in every city, every state, every country. This is bigger than just here, you know.
That's awesome.
I love it. And so you had mentioned summer of 2023, you'll start with a small group of kids to sort of work out the kinks. How many kids, after you're done with working out the kinks for this summer, how many kids do you all really hope to serve? I think you said 1 million kids.
So our goal is 1 million, right? So
Okay.
I know I can't do that, you know, by myself. So I've already had other nonprofits who want to adopt our program. You know, and the first thing they say is how much, right? And it blows my mind, you know, because nonprofits aren't mine. It's not mine. What I'm creating isn't mine. It's the community's, right? So why would I charge you to make an impact with our kids, right? So it's, listen, you can use my program, and all you got to do is put my name on it. That's it, you know? So I've had a nonprofit in Maryland already reach out, one in Texas already reach out, and that's just by word of mouth. Like, we haven't really posted much.
Right.
And everything that we did post was in black and white, so you really couldn't see the colors, because we wanted it to be a surprise. We wanted to, when you walk in, you're like, whoa. And that's the effect we get right now when people actually come to our facility. They're like, I didn't know this was like this, right? Because it doesn't look like it outside. But everything from the mat that you walk on before you walk in the door has a message, to everything on the walls has a positive message. You know, affirmations are huge for us, you know.
I love it. Lavera, do you have any questions?
Yeah, so Josh, you know, 1 million kids, what are those ages that you plan on serving?
So we're going to start with 8 to 18. Our goal
8
is
to
to get them when they're impressionable, right? I want to get them before they start
It
going
may be
down
8,
the wrong way.
because 18 is like,
Yeah.
I'm grown.
But, you know, I feel like even at 18, there's something that they want to do.
Right.
Most parents don't have the resources or access to get them to what they want to do. If they want to be a rapper, how do we get them in the studio, right? We want to be able to provide those resources. So not only will you come, the goal is you'll come, we'll teach you the business side, but then we also have partnerships where, hey, I'm going to send you over to, you know, my friend who's teaches kids how to DJ, right? Rockmaster. Rockmaster's like, hey, I'm going to teach them. So now they get the hands-on, and I teach them, you know, the business side. So it just works hand in hand so that they can learn all the ways around the board.
Oh, it sounds like there'll be different sessions based on age groups.
So the sessions will be the same on my side, right? So we're looking at like 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, let's just say, right? those Monday and Wednesday, they're actually learning stuff. And when we learn, it's fun. It's not like, I don't want it dry. It's just fun. We're dancing, we're laughing, we're having a good time learning. And then Fridays, we'll have a guest speaker come and speak every Friday, because I want to hear your story, right? It doesn't matter what you do. It's how you got there and what you did to get there. So the stories have more power because it shows you were persistent, or, you know, you didn't give up, or, you know, just different things like that can resonate with anybody. Doesn't matter if you're in the print business. Doesn't matter if you're, you know, a truck driver. How you got there and what you had to overcome to get there is more important than what you're doing, if that makes sense. So our guest speakers are very important, you know, and that's anybody who's just wants to reach the kids, you know. You don't have to own a business. You can be in the workforce. There's still a story there, right? So that's pretty much.
So you know, I'm sitting here, and, you know, our audience can't see you, but I'm looking at the shirt, "Forget Your Limits." Is that one of the affirmations?
So it is. So we're dropping a clothing line, right? So, okay, the podcast, we're doing a podcast called Inspired, right? I want that if a kid would like to start their own makeup company, right, I'm going to find someone who's already done it, bring them on. I need them to tell me what were your failures, your successes, your hardships, right? So the kid has a better understanding of what they're about to jump into. 9 out of 10 times, most likely, they become mentors to that kid, right, in the field that they want to be. So that's why we're doing the podcast. But on top of that, now I get to put it out in the world, and other people can listen to it.
Yes.
So then after the podcast is the magazine called Inspired again, right? Because we want to inspire kids. Now the goal is to have these magazines in all the schools, so the kids can read about it and read about other kids being able to do it. Then the clothing line, right? So Forget Your Limits. For me, Forget Your Limits is, as kids, we have no limits. We think we can fly, right? But as we start growing up, our parents and friends and relatives are like, stop, don't do that. You can't do this, right? So we slowly compress what they want to do. Listen, if my kid's drawing on the wall, yeah, we'd probably be mad, right? But let's get some paint. You know, we can paint over that. He may be the next big painter that we don't know about. But if we tell him to stop, you know, and this is what what he always goes to, then we're literally killing his dream. So we don't want to do that. We want them to remember that there is no limits. Just like when we were kids, there was no limits. So as an adult, there's no limits, except for the ones that we put on ourselves or that people put on us, saying that we can't do it.
That's awesome. So what are some of the other affirmations that you have in here in the facility? What's the one that's my favorite?
Your favorite is broken crayon, still color.
Yes. I love that.
Right? A lot of people just think that if it's broken, we can't use it anymore. There's a story there. Right? Now there's two. So now not only you can color, but somebody else can color with you.
Wow.
Right? So affirmations is key. My favorite one in the office is a winner is a loser who tried one more time.
Oh, wow. That's deep.
Right?
That's deep.
And then one more. And, you know, a lot of people don't know what the real meaning behind abracadabra. Do you know what it is?
Tell us. No.
It means I create as I speak.
Say it again.
I create as I speak. So that's in our affirmation room. So when you're looking in the mirror, that's what you see above you. And it says,
Lavera, abracadabra.
I create as I speak.
Exactly.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. You know, they just put it towards magic and stuff, but the real meaning is I create as I speak. So when you speak, anything that comes out of your mouth, you can create. There's power in the tongue.
Yes.
That's true. That's true. And then you said there's a meditation room. What role does meditation play in the whole concept of being an entrepreneur?
So I guess it depends on your religion, right? And it doesn't. But for us, right, prayer is when we speak to God. Meditation is when he speaks back.
Okay.
I need to be able to quiet my mind. I need kids to be able to just sit in silence and just listen for a second, and then you'll know what to do, right? So that when you're in the real world, right, it's loud. I need you to still be able to hear your next move.
Okay.
So that's why we teach them to just sit still. Sometimes we have to sit still. Like, it took us a while to figure out how we were going to build Kids in Biz. COVID made us sit still.
You're right. It made a lot of us sit still.
Yeah,
didn't it?
printing wasn't happening. So I'm sitting here. I know I always wanted to do this, just didn't know how, where, and how we were going to pull it off. When COVID hit, it freed us up. So me, my wife, and all 4 of my kids were at the office painting. We did the floors. We did everything, right?
So you let the kids paint on the walls.
Oh, yeah. Great. My 5-year-old now, because he just turned 5 on Christmas Eve, but he'll tell you, I painted that one right there. Yeah. You know, I put those chairs with my dad together. Like he gives the tour, you know.
I love it.
And for us, it was, we needed to just sit still and understand. We didn't know what every room was going to be. We had so many rooms in there. We're like, okay, what rooms do we need? We know mental health is huge. Okay, let's put the affirmation room together. You know, meditation. We know we just want kids to learn how to, you know, sometimes they may be dealing with anxiety. They may be dealing with depression. Sometimes meditating can get you out of that funk. You know, just a deep breathing, just being still. And most kids don't know how to do that. Neither do parents. You know, so when we get to, I believe, when we're guiding our kids are guiding our parents, because they're going to see a shift in their kid, and they're going to be like, what's going on? You know, like, I want to be a part of that.
Right. That's pretty awesome. So I know we talked about a little bit about cost. Is there a cost to participate in the program?
There is. It's $250 a month, which comes out to $3,000 a year, right? Most of that goes right back to the kids. But the kids, when they come through our program, right, we do their website, we do their logo, they get flyers, business cards, retractable banners, tablecloths, they get a laptop so that when they're done, they continue on learning. They get so much more.
So wait a minute. So this $250 is going to get them a laptop?
Oh yeah, they get one at the end.
It's going to get them a
full-fledged business.
A branding for their so wow. So
they'll probably, you know, I've been doing this for 18 years, and I see so many adult businesses that they don't even have what my kids are going to have, right? I want my kids that when they step into a room, they look professional, sound professional, and they're selling their product because they know who they're talking to, right? I deal with this every day, and I'm now coaching, you know, adult businesses to shift their business because it's been wrong for so long because you never looked at who your target audience is. It's not everybody, I promise you. Because if you're trying to reach everyone, you're reaching nobody.
Right.
So I need you to focus on, and my kids will know exactly who they're targeting, and everything will flow for them.
That's awesome. So 8 to 18 is the age. Now I'm 18, and I've gone through your program, but now I'm 21, and I'm doing some great things, or maybe I'm not doing so great. I need a refresher. Can I get a refresher? Can I come back in? Can I be a mentor? What can I do?
So we're never done, right? So even after the 12 months, we still meet twice a month for the rest of your life. Oh. 1, for a guest speaker to continue to keep on pouring into you. And 2, to figure out where you're struggling as a business, and as a collective, we could create a solution to help you.
So for the rest of my life?
I don't care if you're 50 years old. If you came through my program, come back. My kids are going to teach other kids, right? That's the goal. Like, I can't do this alone. Right. But if I can have kids who really love and understand what we're doing, teach it back to other kids because they can relate a lot better than I can. Absolutely. Why not?
And is this a way that you're going to get your program to grow across the country by having, when the kids go through the program and coming back and being mentors, maybe they can open up a...
Yeah. So right now, I have kids in Italy ready to go because we're going to do virtual, right? We're going to launch the virtual portion of it. But this is just by speaking about it. We have kids ready. You know, we had a set of boys who came through, and we helped them. And, you know, we were just testing little things out. And they make, their company's called Happy Pops. They make freeze pops for farm animals.
Oh, wow.
Who would think, right? And they made 5 figures their first year. Not even a full year, and they did over 20. And they're in multiple states. And they're at Hunt Club. They're at the Saddle Place. I forget what it's called, but they're in different places already. And all it is they created these ice pops that you just get water, put it in there, freeze it, and go feed the pig, the horse, the cow, the goat, whatever you want. They like this stuff. Just crazy ideas, right? We don't care what idea kids have, right? Bring it. all we got to do is try.
Yeah,
And
we sometimes as adults, we think they're crazy.
Right.
But the kids are
But
the
who thought we was
innovators.
going to have a cell phone this big compared to
Yes.
what we had I remember when I was a kid, I had to dial up net zero internet and that big phone. And it was funny. My wife showed me a picture the other day. Remember the caller ID that you had to put to your phone?
Oh, yeah.
It was a little box
little
that you had to
box.
connect just so you could see who's calling. Like now we have cell phones, right?
Yeah.
It just takes time. So the key is to teach kids it's okay to fail. That's the key, right? As adults, if we fail, we get depressed, we'll quit and go back to a 9 to 5. If I could teach a kid today that it's okay to fail, all they're going to do is try again. They're just going to try a different way. Not only that, but I'm creating a community of like-minded people who think absolutely different. So whatever they're missing, someone in my room probably knows what they're missing that they can add to this to make it work.
You're right.
I love it.
You're
I have a
right.
question. Josh, you had mentioned that you're going to kick this off, your team and you are going to kick this off, Kids in Biz, June of 2023. You're going to kick it off with about 10 to 20 kids. And I guess you're going to ask that question too, Lavera. How can I be one of those? How does a kid qualify to be one of the 10 to 20
Yeah.
kids?
That's a good
to
question.
kick it off.
Because this goes back to us charging, right? At first we were like, oh, we could do it for free. But then I was like, people are going to think this is a daycare and drop their kids off, right? Because it looks like a daycare. When you walk in, right, it's
bright,
beautiful,
it's
it's bright, it's
beautiful, yeah,
colorful.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you have my 5-year-old running around with Nerf guns and his little trampoline thing, right? But I needed it to make sure that when kids come, right? So the first thing they got to do, right? We created a box. It's called Small Business in a Box, right? They'll be able to make cake pops, lip balm, dog treats, different things like that. What we decided was I had to look at it as a parent, do I want to invest in this for my kid, right? So the easiest thing was to create this box that has all the ingredients you need to create these products and then has a miniature curriculum that tells you how to price it. There's 3 different ways to do it, the easy way and the hard way, right? We'll break it down to the ounce of the cost, right? And they'll create these products. Then Kids in Biz will rent space at the mall, the farmer's market, different businesses, and have these kids sell their products. We want to make sure the kid is interested in entrepreneurship, right? 9 out of 10 times, they probably will be because they're putting money in their pocket. So that's the first step. Then they come in and get interviewed.
Okay.
And they get interviewed, not the parents, because the parents can't make you want to be here.
Right.
Because I don't want any distractions. My kids are here to learn and start a business. If you're here because your parents forced you here, you're not going to want to learn this stuff. So we do the interview process. After that, we take them and we start running.
So is there an application that they have to complete or a fee, an application fee, or is everything inclusive in that $250?
Yeah, everything's inclusive. Yeah,
Okay.
so once the website launches, everything's mentors, volunteers, sponsors, the kids who want to be part of the program. There's a form for everyone up there.
Now, I'm one of those parents that when my child, I want my child to be an entrepreneur, and I'm going to ask you for those interview questions because I need to prepare him. Okay.
Exactly.
Can I get a copy of the interview
So
questions?
the funny part is it's all different, right? You can
okay.
tell when you talk to people if this is something that they want to do, right? So if I talk to a kid and they just look like they're not even interested, you can tell it's not a good fit. I don't want to waste the parents' money or their time or our time.
Or your
right?
time.
Like we have a goal. We have a mission. Like
And that could be a slot for another kid.
That really wants to do
absolutely.
it,
Yes.
right?
And that's the key. Like Kids in Biz is about saving lives, creating an impact, and breaking generational curses. That's what we're about, right? As adults, we're always pushing our kids, you gotta go to college. College isn't it anymore. There's so many people who I know someone who has a doctor's and can't even get a job. And you're like, you spent all this money and time trying to, get this degree that's supposed to be able to pay you this amount of money, and you're literally struggling, right? I believe college needs to be treated like a business. Business is all about solving problems, right? So if you're passionate about, let's just say, like my daughter right now, she's 17. She graduated 16, 17, she started college this month, right, to be an attorney. I'm like, why do you want to be a lawyer? She goes, they pay good money. Well, you're going to hate it in about, you can hate it in 5 years, 10 years, in a year, right? Because you chase the money. But as parents, we put that on our kids because we're like, you got to get a good job so you can take care of your family, you know, and all that. So I believe if she's like, hey, Dad, so many people just are going to jail for dumb stuff, and I want to help. I'm just so passionate about that, right? Now she knows to solve the problem, I got to get the degree to be able to help the people that I'm passionate about helping, right? So now there's a roadmap there. The saving lives part, right? We're always, in school, kids get bullied all the time, right? Because they're different. Well, we want you different in the entrepreneur world. So I create a community of like-minded people so that they can be different and not judged and have people who are just like them in their corner. Right. And then create an impact. Every time we make money, we give money in our community, right? So whatever our kid believes in, whether it was a house with domestic violence, drug and alcohol, and then they believe there's kids that they can help, that when they make money, they're going to donate to those nonprofits.
So you're creating, entrepreneurs, and then also those that are going to give back to the community in the future, which is, it's just a great program. How long do you think it takes you to go through the initial part of the program? Like you said, get in the box and that. How long is that about?
So the box can be done, I'd say 2 weeks, right? Give them a week to make all their products, and then the next week is selling.
Okay.
And then, so the box actually helps because that becomes our after-school program. That becomes church program because the box, we can do so much out of the box before they actually jump into.
But all that money is theirs.
All that money is theirs.
When they create that product, that's theirs. Okay.
Yeah.
So the kids can literally pay for their own session.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. I need to sign up.
Don't worry, it's coming. Adults in biz, felons in biz, veterans in biz, all that is coming after kids in biz.
All that's coming?
After kids in biz, because we've had so many adults like, I need this program. I need to take this program, right? And there's so many adults who just jump in because they think it's easy. Entrepreneurship is not easy.
Yeah,
it's not, and it's not for everyone too, but come to the program. If you don't become an entrepreneur and you came through our program, you became an asset to a company because you think like the boss, right? How do I save money? How do I make money? What can we maneuver to make the company better, right? Where I'm not just a person who's there just collecting a paycheck and can't wait to clock out and go home. Right. So not every kid is going to own their own business, but they're still going to have an impact because of what they learned.
The mindset.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of clocking out, we're kind of towards the end of our session, but, I really wish that, growing up there was a program like this when I was younger, much younger, because,
much younger?
much younger. So, kids today have a different mindset than we have. I often, talk to individuals. We were talking about the cell phone. I'm just going to throw this in here. It probably has nothing to do with this, but I'm just going to throw it in here. I was talking to a millennial, she, and it was like, bought a house, got the bundle for my phone, my internet, my phone and everything. And for the house, the landline. And, a lot of younger people don't even know what a landline is.
Right.
But she got it anyway because it was cheaper, And then she said, well, I thought they were going to give me the phone to go with the landline. I was like, no, dear, you have to go and buy that phone, But it's just that they just have a different mindset. They just don't know about things.
And it's like, you mean you can go buy a phone to plug into the wall?
Right. But why would I do, and then she's like, why would I do that? I just got it because it was cheaper. I'm not going to use that landline. But I mean, they just think different from us, and growing up for me, a landline was, you had a phone, but get this, we had a phone in a house, and then we had a separate line just for me and, my niece. We had
you guys were big time. You all had the party line?
It wasn't no party line. It was a phone line in our room. It had a separate phone number.
What? I don't know anything about that, girl. We had that
Everyone had the same phone.
Black phone with the extra long cord.
And it was push button. It wasn't a rotary.
What? Push button?
Yes.
Oh, you're fancy.
Yes. But it's just, they just have a different, it's just a different time.
It is.
And
completely.
Creating these entrepreneurs and looking at the things that they create along the way, it's just awesome to see, children just grow, our nation grow, and just how we are developing, individuals to be an entrepreneur. And that's just like hats off to you and your wife for coming up with this concept.
Thank you. Yeah, it's needed.
Kids and biz.
And I think it's exposure. That's
it is.
You guys.
That's the key word.
Yeah.
I think we talked about that last time. The key word, to save our kids is exposure. Right? You got to expose them to the things they want to do, to keep them off the streets, to keep them from hurting each other. Exposure. And listen, the thing is, parents, if you don't know how to expose them to what they want to do, ask.
That's right.
That's really all it takes is there's someone who knows how to get them there, right? And they don't have to be good at it. It's okay. You don't have to. I didn't think my son was going to be good at hosting, right? I thought he was going to flake as soon as he's got on the stage. But he blew me away, and I was like.
But you felt that, but you kept it to yourself.
Of course.
Yes.
And you know why? Yeah. Because I didn't want to kill his dream.
Right.
I'm here to support you. I'm not the parent who's going to be like, hey, he doesn't want to host no more? Okay, I'm not going to be mad about it. What do you want to do next? Right? There's parents who like, no, I invested so much time, money, and energy into this. He's not giving up. Well, he's
and it's not
the
about
lesson
you.
Was learned, right?
Yes.
Everything in life is a lesson. In that time period, his lesson is learned.
Yeah.
If he's ready to move on, we move on to the next thing and keep it moving.
But just that confidence builder, not only for your son, but the other kids that you brought into the fold, that you exposed them to that as well, that they knew or figured out at a young age that they had the ability to do it. And so that's the blessing.
Listen, they had a voice.
Yes.
That's the key. All our kids have a voice. I tell my kids today, listen, you have a voice. If I do something wrong, tell me, right? Come at me respectfully, but let's talk about it because you may have a different perspective than I do because of how I was raised.
And it may be better.
And it may be better. So bring it to me. Don't think that we can't talk about it. Yes, I may be mad because you did this, but this is because this is how I grew up and this is what I understand this to mean, right? But for you, it's a whole new age. Yeah. Explain this to me, why you did what you did, so that we can talk about it. If I don't give them a voice, when they go in the real world, what happens? They keep everything to themselves.
That's right.
And they don't stand up for themselves.
Right.
That's right.
Until it's too late.
Right.
So all our kids, we teach them, you got a voice.
And let it be heard.
That's to your parents. That's to anybody. You have a voice. Just come respectful at it. That's it.
That's powerful, Josh.
Awesome. That is powerful. So Sheila, Josh was on our podcast last series, and we're so happy to have him back. And we're going to be looking to see what's next for Kidpreneur and Innovative Twist. We'd like to keep in touch and see how things go, and maybe one of the kids will invite us to be on their podcast.
Absolutely. Listen, maybe y'all do a live remote podcast at the studio when we do our grand opening and get some interviews with some kids.
Oh, so hey, good idea. Yeah, that would be nice.
We'd love that.
So just a few things, Sheila, that I heard, one of the things, this Kids and Bids it's there to build confidence and self-esteem in children. And, Josh and his wife, they turned something that they loved to do into a business, which, it's helping children in the community. And so those are a few takeaways that I got. What do you have for us?
Well, I think for me, they have been so intentional as it relates to the mission for Kids and Biz. Those 3 things that Josh had shared with us the last time, he shared again, and each time that I hear it, it gives me goosebumps. Kids and Biz is there to, they're saving lives, they're making an impact, and they're breaking generational curses. For me, that says everything. And then I think that's the driver for them. I think that's what Josh had shared. That's the driver for them, to inspire children, to inspire the next generation of leaders. They have a mission that they've set out to achieve, to build 1 million Kidpreneurs. They're focused on going live this summer, which is June of 2023. They're going to start with a small group of kids to sort of work out the kinks. They're going to have the information on the website for those children. There is a small cost of about $250 per month. But, what Josh has shared with us, the kids will have the ability while they're in the program to earn funds. So parents that may be listening, you may think $250 is a lot, but the key is the kids are going to walk away with mentors, tools, a laptop. They'll understand how to brand their business. And then throughout the program, they will have the opportunity to make money, which they're sort of earning their way through the program. These are key takeaways. And I think one of the things that he mentioned today, and he also talked about the last time, is that, you know, maybe all the kids won't be entrepreneurs, but the key thing that they will gain from this is that they will have an entrepreneurial mindset, which they will bring value to any position that
They're
they
thinking like the
space
boss,
they end up in.
right?
They're thinking
That's
like
what
the
he
boss,
said.
and they may one day be the boss there.
Right.
So it is truly amazing. And I think the other thing that he had shared as well, you know, we had asked the question, how are you going to get to 1 million kids? And he had said that by word of mouth at this particular point, he's been talking to a number of organizations and owners that want to adopt the program in other cities. And I think Italy.
Even global.
Yeah,
International.
globally.
I mean, our partners are huge. We have a lot of people who are jumping on board to help. Everyone who comes in is like, I want to help the kids, right? This isn't about money.
Right.
This is about saving these kids.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm tired of watching the news and seeing all these kids hurt themselves. Like, my daughters just, you know, this week is hard for them. This is their first loss where one of their friends was murdered.
Oh, wow.
You know, and this is a teen. You know, this is horrible.
But I think these things that we would only experience as adults when we were growing up, I think the children are having those experiences now. And they have, I think, access to technology. They see a lot of these things live that is really stressful.
Yeah.
You know, for them. And so I am truly grateful for you, the meditation room that you had mentioned before, that all these kids would have access to as well.
Absolutely. Mental health is huge.
Yeah.
Mental health is so huge. And that's what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
COVID created a whole different monster for our kids, you know, and I don't even think that we really talked about it during COVID, you know, what was happening to our kids. You know, it was always...
Well, I think it may have already been there. I think COVID just sort of
enhanced
pulled the
it.
Band-Aid,
Yeah.
you know, off of it. And I'm so glad that there are people like you that are paying attention to it.
Absolutely. So we had Josh Alvelo. Did I say it right?
That's right.
Alvelo.
Founder of the nonprofit Kids in Biz. Josh, again, thank you so much for coming back and
having me.
Sitting and talking with us. Opening in June of 2023.
Exciting.
We'll be there for the grand opening. We want to thank you for joining us. Are you ready to share like any contact information or how people can get more information?
So we're on social media as Kids in Biz.
Okay.
The website, I'm going to launch it no later than February 14th, since it's my birthday, right? So it's already done. I just got to put some.
It's a Valentine baby. Okay.
So I just got to put some videos up.
So he's full of love. That's
what it is.
Okay, Josh.
Okay.
It's all about love.
If you met my 5-year-old, you'll know. He's like that full of love spread right to him. I'm telling you. Next time he'll be doing the interview, I promise. He's an entrepreneur, doesn't even know it.
Wow. Well, again, Josh, thank you so much for joining us. And to our audience, if you have a question regarding this week's episode of The Art of Sculpting Your Business, send it to artofbiz@vbgov.com. That's artofbiz@vbgov.com, and biz is B-I-Z. Be sure to include your name as we may share it on an upcoming episode. Sheila, if you want to take us home.
Yes, next week we'll continue our conversation. Our special guest will be Kip Washington, president and owner of Refresh Global Cleaning. The topic, the benefits of subcontracting. Thank you to our sponsor, the Virginia Beach Hive, where businesses thrive.